Tonight, you are sitting on the beach. Salty wind, steady waves, a glass of water in your hand, and you feel peace. But there is something you have never noticed. Something very small. Very ordinary. So much so that it hides right in front of your eyes and you do not see it. You never turn your back to the sea. Think about it. Every time you go to the beach, you always sit facing the water. Never sit the other way around. Never leave that vast darkness behind you. Do you think it is because of the beautiful view? No. It is 300,000 years of survival running silently in your head, and you call that feeling peace. There is a psychological phenomenon called thalassophobia, a fear not of water, but of what is hidden beneath the surface of the water. But here is the strange part. Scientists do not call it a psychological disorder. They call it an adaptive response, a brain mechanism refined over hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, operating exactly as it was originally designed. Your brain does not distinguish between the year 2024 and the year 50,000 BC. When you look down into a dark body of water and cannot see the bottom, your nervous system activates the exact brain region your ancestors used to escape crocodiles. Your heart beats faster. Your pupils dilate. Your leg muscles tense ready to run even though you are standing on a sandy beach wearing simple rubber sandals. You cannot turn it off. Because it does not belong to consciousness. It belongs to something older, deeper, something evolution engraved into your brain before language even existed. Erase everything modern. No maps, no compass, no concept of the other shore. And most importantly, no one who ever went out there and came back to tell the story. To ancient humans, the sea was not geography. The sea was the boundary of reality. On land, everything follows logic. There are footprints to track, scents to recognize, sounds to orient yourself. No matter how dangerous a predator is, your brain has enough tools to deal with it. But stepping into water is stepping into a world where all those survival tools disappear completely. You cannot see anything. You cannot truly hear anything. You cannot run. You cannot fight. And beneath your feet there is no ground. Only infinite emptiness pulling downward. That feeling has a scientific name. Kenophobia, the fear of empty space with no point of support. And the sea is its perfect expression. What is interesting is not that our ancestors feared the sea. What is interesting is how they feared it. Across the world, from Greece to Japan, from the Vikings to the Polynesian tribes, every civilization that had never been in contact with each other did exactly one thing when faced with the sea. They created monsters. Not because they were superstitious, but because the human brain cannot tolerate uncertainty more than it tolerates danger with a name. This is one of the most important findings in modern behavioral psychology. Humans endure pain much better when they know where that pain comes from. But with uncertainty, the brain will create an enemy. And the enemy of the sea created by our ancestors is terrifying enough that even today, you still feel something when you hear their names. The Japanese believed in Ryujin, the dragon king beneath the ocean floor, controlling tides with divine jewels. If not properly worshipped before setting sail, he would overturn ships, not out of malice, but because he simply does not care about your existence. The Polynesians, the greatest navigators in history, who crossed the Pacific Ocean in wooden canoes and read the stars with their eyes, still believed that beneath every deep body of water there was a Te-Ka, an entity without form, without purpose, impossible to negotiate with. It does not hunt, it simply exists, and that existence alone is enough to kill you. Ancient Japanese fishermen had a saying passed down through generations: the sea laughs at the foolish and weeps for the wise, meaning, the foolish go out to sea without fear because they do not know what is there. The wise go out and are afraid because they know enough to understand that they know nothing at all. We laugh at the fears of our ancestors, call them superstition, call them ignorance. But in 1977, the research vessel Alvin first descended to a depth of 2,500 meters in the Pacific Ocean and recorded images of life forms unlike anything on land. No light required. No oxygen in the usual sense. Some can withstand pressure 1,000 times greater than the surface. Some live in temperatures close to boiling water. And to this day, we have explored less than 20% of the ocean floor. The remaining 80% is a dark region we know less about than the surface of the moon. Our ancestors did not draw monsters on maps because they were irrationally afraid. They drew monsters because in a way they could not explain they were right in believing there were things out there that humans were not ready to face. Modern science is only slowly proving that. This is what I want you to think about carefully. The entire journey from "there are dragons here" to booking a sea view resort is not proof of progress. It is proof of systematic forgetting. We did not conquer the sea. We built fences around it, named it, packaged it into tourism products, and called it "no longer afraid." But your brain knows the truth. That is why every time you stand at the edge of the waves looking down and seeing no bottom, there is 1 second, just 1 second, where all the resorts and captions and filters disappear. And what remains is you, and the darkness in front of you, and a very old instinct whispering, "You do not belong here." Your ancestors heard that and stepped back. You hear that and take a photo. There is a strange paradox at the center of all this. Humans are the only species on Earth that fear the ocean and still keep returning to it. Not because we are brave, not because we are no longer afraid, but because there is something in the structure of the human brain deeper than fear itself that pulls us toward things larger than us. Psychologists call it the sublime, a feeling of both terror and attraction in the presence of something beyond human understanding. Not peace, not fear, but something between those two states, something language has not yet found the exact word for. Every time you look out at the sea and cannot look away, you are experiencing exactly what someone standing in that same place 50,000 years ago felt. The same horizon, the same darkness, the same unanswered question. What is on the other side? They called it dragons. You call it unknown. And perhaps that is the most honest answer humanity has ever given about the sea.